I'm at the Calgary Motorcycle Show, and I've come across this group of gals. I've heard of them several times all across Canada, and I've heard about their worldwide organization, the Litas, now have a chapter in Calgary. And I'm with one of the co-founders, Amanda. And Amanda, can you give us a little bit of a backstory behind that really pretty nose brace you're wearing?
So over a few years now, I've broken it a couple times, and most recently I went over my dirt bike bars and hit the crossbar right in the nose and broke my nose and had to have reconstructive surgery this week. Timing was a little bit bad, and but I made it here to the motorcycle show regardless of the splint. So yeah, I've had a few crashes here and there. That was the most recent one.
And how long have you been riding?
I've been riding dirt bikes since I was a small child, and when I turned 18, I bought my first street bike. I guess this dates me now, but I've been riding for almost 15 years on the street. I absolutely love it. I'm so thrilled to have found some women to ride with because I've always been riding with all of the boys. So really, it's such an empowering feeling to have other girls who are into the same sports and ready to hit the road with us.
And what kind of a bike do you ride on the street?
I have a Harley Nightster 1200. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, loud pipes on it. All the Harley emblems are Swarovski crystals, but it's a 1200. It's had a lot of motor work done to it. It's a super fast bike, and I absolutely love it.
And why did you choose that bike?
Well, it's been in the making. That's my 5th motorcycle on the street that I've had. I actually started with sport bikes, mostly because I was a broke student and I couldn't afford a Harley. So I got, my first bike was a Suzuki, and then I got into Suzuki like a CBR 600 RR, right. And I wanted a Harley, and I walked into Harley and looked at, say, it was an 883. The guys at Harley were like, "There's no way you're gonna want more power than that." And I thought a 1200, it feels like a lot of bike from a 600, but even though I had a lot of experience, and I have no regrets about getting the 1200. It's absolutely such a slick bike, and because I'm so light and it's so small, I pretty well beat the boys in most races. Not that I encourage that.
That's, you know, it's interesting to talk to young women. I mean, I'm 58, you're 33.
Yes.
And to talk to younger women about riding and why they're riding.
Yes.
It has been such an interesting series of interviews for me. It's to find out that a lot of the motivation behind your riding today is the same as my motivation was 25, 30, 40 Absolutely. Years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me it was, I'm an adrenaline junkie, and I mean, I remember my brother came home. He had a Gixxer 1000, and it was his first street bike, and he didn't tell my parents for the first 3 months that he owned it, and he would pick me up around the corner, and I'd sneak out with my helmet, and I remember him, you know, riding like a crazy man, but I felt safe. I've been riding on the back of his bike since I was a child, obviously, and I remember thinking to myself, I need to be behind these bars. I don't want my life in anybody else's hands. And I knew, obviously, I was going to love it. And as soon as I got my first bike, that feeling of freedom. And I'm also a yoga instructor. And for me, it's therapy. It's a type of meditation, of just you and your bike in that open road and just feeling all the wind on your face and the places you get to go and ride. And it's such a different experience than being in a car, right? You can look in all the mountains. We're so fortunate to live here. So I can't even describe it to you. Obviously, you know the feeling. I'm sure everyone who's watching this, that feeling of just this of elevation. Like, it's just unbelievable. I love it. And more girls who are doing it. I can't explain to you, the first time there was about 6 of us all there. And just to see all these wonderful, strong women lined up, ready to hit the open road. On our trip to Drumheller, we did an overnight camping trip, and it was amazing. Yeah. Yeah,
and the camaraderie. I don't care. You can be a soccer mom, you can be, a baseball mom, whatever that looks like. But there is nothing in the world like a motorcycle to make a woman walk a little taller, right?
Yes.
Feel strong inside. And I don't know about you, but I remember especially those first few rides on my own where I had nobody around me.
Yes.
And the mantra in my head was, I feel so empowered.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Right from your toes all the way out your fingertips. It's so empowering. it's a liberating feeling, and it's confident, and it's scary sometimes. I've had a few times that I've been alone on my bike on kind of a back road, and I saw a guy walking out of an alley coming towards me, and I just ran the light and went for it, because sometimes it can be a little bit frightening. But man, that feeling of just doing it on your own and learning more about your bike, I think that's really important too. I think you should also know what's going on if your bike is breaking down, and do some basic maintenance. That's a big advocate. I know, especially on my dirt bike, I do most of it myself, and if I can't, I will always try and learn and watch. And bike maintenance is important too. Side note, and we talk about that at the Litas a lot.
Well, not just bike maintenance. The one piece of maintenance, and it's always driven me right off the deep end. This is my one pet peeve. About 90% of lady riders, they forget to check their tires.
Pressure. Oh my gosh, I know. Totally. Amen.
And they don't look at their tires. And I remember a girlfriend of mine, probably about 15, 16 years ago, we pull into this place, and I looked at her and I said, "Did you even look at your tires before we left your house?" And she says, "No." I said, "Girl, we're going straight to the dealership," which was only 6 blocks away, thank God, because all of the cords were showing on her tires. It was like, really? Oh, man. On the Alberta-Saskatchewan border is a welcoming city that was recently crowned as Canada's most rider-friendly community of 2017, Lloydminster. From rider-friendly businesses to great events, Lloydminster, Canada's most rider-friendly community. Come experience it. Community Futures Grand Prairie and Region can assist small business with financing, training, and advisory services. We're here to help small business in rural Alberta. I want to talk to you a little bit about the younger generation, okay? You're that millennial. You're that age group, that generation. I'm a baby boomer, the last of the baby boomers, born in 1960, right?
Yeah.
So I'm 58 this year. You're 33. And yet we seem to have certain commonalities, things that we understand. Why do you think that we can be so big of an age difference, have a wonderful conversation about what it means to ride a motorcycle and not judge each other?
Such a great question. I have found that the motorcycle community in general is so welcoming and open and friendly, and you have that common connection, that passion you can't get anywhere else. And I think that the more that you ride and the more people that you meet, I've been to motorcycle rallies, even at Northern Alberta, and you talk to all these different types of people, from your chiropractor to a teacher to, whoever, all these Litas all over. So it's so amazing just to see. It doesn't matter. There's no judgment. It doesn't matter your history, your background. You got a bike. Let's talk about it. What kind is it? Tell me more. Where have you ridden to? Tell me your stories. Because there's so many stories that come with the adventures when you're out on your bike.
Absolutely. And I think what I'm learning about the younger generations of riders, when I rode a motorcycle, when I first started learning back in the men frowned upon it. Men did not want women on. I was very fortunate to have a man in my life at the time that wanted me to ride my own.
Yes.
Right? But so many women didn't have that.
Yeah.
What do you find the younger male is like when it comes to accepting you as an empowered woman on your own motorcycle? Do you feel that sense of male superiority coming across, or do you find them to be more admiring of you?
It's kind of a mixed bag. Funny that you say that. Sometimes, yes, you get some looks, but I would say 95% of the time, people are actually just really happy. I remember one of the first times we did an ice cream night with the Litas, and there was, I think, 4 or 5 of us that got together, and a guy walked right up to us. He's like, "I've never seen this many girls on bikes in one place." And so I think it's actually getting people pretty hyped up just to see kind of getting re-energized in the support. And that's really what we're all about. We just want to get girls to come out and ride and be brave. go for it. Go take your motorcycle school, please. And when you want more girls to ride with, come ride with us. And and one of the things that I've found is riding with the boys. I mean, they like to ride aggressive. Sometimes they peacock a little bit, and I think that it's good sometimes because it will challenge you as a rider. But you need to ride within your own means, and that's what we always are focused on at the Litas, is keeping everybody safe. Yep. Even on our first road trip, right? We had all checkpoints and everything. We went through all the hand signals before we left just to make sure everyone was on the same page. And so that's been a really cool feeling. There's something different about riding with a whole group of women. As a quick example, we showed up at one of the check stops. One of the girls had chocolate-covered strawberries in her saddlebag. That usually doesn't happen, I don't think, on other rides.
Yeah, I don't think that's something the guys would do. The men in your life. And when I talk about that, I mean boyfriends, husbands, how do they view you as a motorcyclist?
So my dad had a motorcycle growing up. And he saw my mom jump on it. I think that was the day that they really fell in love. And but the day I brought my first motorcycle home, my first street bike, my dad looked at me and said, "You know what? You better go kiss it goodbye because it's not going to be there in the morning." And thankfully it was. So he's just worried. He wants me to be safe, right? He's always worried about his little girl getting hit on the road or whatever happens, because it can happen. Not if, but when. As far as, my brother, my spouse, they're all into it too, and they love it. I've been tagging along my brother's rides for as long as I can remember. I used to run behind him on my bike because he didn't let me have training wheels, so he's used to me tagging along. And as far as that, I just keep it upright, and I like to ride fast, so that kind of makes it a little bit fun sometimes, because those guys have taught me a lot. My brother's taught me a lot about how to ride safe, and I'm really comfortable riding with them.
Well, and I think that's the biggest thing. Anything to do with group riding of any nature, you need to be comfortable with the people that are around you, because you can't ride for them and they can't ride for you.
Absolutely.
And so if you aren't riding in a proper staggered formation and giving yourself the whole lane and being able to make sure that you have the space around you, let's talk a little bit about riding gear. Where do you stand on all the gear all the time? The Spark Business Incubator is located in 214 Place and run by Community Futures Grand Prairie and Region. It can provide a new or expanding business with the supports to be successful. www.gpsparkincubator.ca. On the Alberta-Saskatchewan border is a welcoming city that was recently crowned as Canada's most rider-friendly community of 2017, Lloydminster. From rider-friendly businesses to great events, Lloydminster, Canada's most rider-friendly community. Come experience it.